turn it way up. Bet your happy.
端からまでね、膝生地を回すこと以外にほぼデータがなかったんですが、ただもんじゃないですね。
結構ね、ルイズ・プリモ選手の情報って意外と少ないですよね。
少ないんですよ。SNS でね、この膝生地を回しながら戦う姿の動画がですね、めちゃくちゃバズったんですが、そのバズった以上の情報が入ってこないんですよね。そうなんです。今度はピザ。
I love it when he throws the pizza dough to the dude.
That's like MXC Impact Replay for real.
Oh God. Well, there you go, folks. That's your beginning to the Fallout review tonight, folks. Here on the MCU's Bleeding Edge, we're live here Friday night, May 24th, to discuss the 7th episode of the Fallout TV series, hensely called The Radio. It is called, directed by looks like Chaz Hawkins. It looks like it's the director, written once again by Frederick E. Otoya and Claire Kilner. So yeah, this episode, as we were talking about a little bit in the studio here, we felt that this episode was very flat for coming from off episode 6. So just going around the panel here, just kind of give your thoughts on that, guys. Like, how do you feel it dropped off in the last episode? Starting with you, Ben.
I mean, it definitely felt like a filler for me, especially coming off that big episode 6. It was mainly a story driver. It was just building story. That's basically the whole entire point of episode 7, was just building story, building more background. And yeah, it was just it was the down wave, I would say, coming off of episode 6 for me, at least for this part.
Okay. Jeff, same question, sir.
Very long episode. What? Over an hour long?
An hour and 1 minute. Yep.
Oh, you know what? Let me put my headphones on. I'm sorry, guys.
Good.
No, but sometimes I forget, Cyber. I still do sometimes. I forget that it's not like 2 years ago, and I'm not going headphoneless. But there we go. So I guess it's crazy that it's that the episode is that long. And I expected a lot from Frederick E. Otoy after Shogun, right? But honestly, I think it's tough. It's got to be tough to have to make one of these episodes to set up the finale episodes, right? Like, look at Shogun, for instance. They killed it with Chapter 9, Episode 9, leading up to the finale. But then the finale was kind of flat, right? Cyber, it was a little flat, right? So, like, Episode 9 of that series kind of stole some thunder from from Episode 10 a little bit, right? So I think it's tough to make Episode 7 when 8 is the finale. That puts you in a tough position. So I think, at that point, it's good. You pretty much, we've talked about this before, Cyber. This has been something that's been a wrinkle we've had a discussion on multiple different TV series of multiple different kinds. The fact that it's tough to make these episodes that set up to these finales, especially like Marvel, for instance. Their 6-episode series, those episode 5s are tough, and they can really sink or swim sometimes, sort of the finale and like the series. So I just think it's a tough episode to really, provide entertainment value the way you'd like to. This episode, obviously, I don't watch ahead really that much. So like I'm still waiting to watch the last episode of Fallout. I don't know what happens after episode 7. All I know is episode 7 and what happened at the endings there. And I don't, I stay away from spoilers and whatnot to some extent. So I don't know what happens after this episode. I'm trying to contain it to this show. I think that this is just the way that the story was written and presented to Otoy. This is what the best he could make out of it, I think, right? Was what the little bit that we got out of it. This is an interesting show. It's based off of like 3 titular characters mainly, right? You know, it has like a power, trio. And a lot of it is flashbacks, right? They do a lot of flashbacks, and like it's the universe is small, like it's not a massive cast kind of series, like TV show. So there's not a lot going on at times. But it's a quirky show. And episode 7 is definitely entertaining in its own way. There's lots of humor in there, right? There's some really interesting, like quirky shit that goes down. And there's some like that guy's fucking foot, man.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Holy fuck.
I mean, that honestly, I like how they did that story arc too, especially with the young squire. I mean, he you're walking, hobbling around with that foot.
That shit fucked me up, dude, when I saw that.
I couldn't believe, and he was messing with it at the gas station, and I mean, left the dog, and then found that doctor that we saw in Philly back earlier on in the season. And basically just fucked himself, turned himself into a ghoul.
We're gonna get there. I don't want to go any farther. I'm gonna stop there, Cyber. Evident drop off from episode 6, but still quality episode. And I'm sure it's gonna set up a really great finale.
Excellent. Thank you both. Great job, guys. Yeah, and to just bounce off you guys there, I definitely felt there was a steep decline going into this episode. Definitely it was a very filler-based type of episode. But at the same time, like we were just talking about how usually the last episode before the finale usually is one of those types of episodes. Hence, this would be one of those episodes, unfortunately. Simply for the fact that, this only being 8 episodes versus like a 10 episode or 12 episode series, they had to shove a lot more information into an episode in each episode to be able to get to kind of having a full encompassed story for this first season. So that seems, that's another reason why probably this one was one of those types of filler episodes like 4 was, or 5, I should say. And, unfortunately, that is kind of the repetitiveness that we keep seeing, as you just said, Jeff, in a lot of the Marvel series and all that kind of stuff. So, it seems to be like that, and there's very few, if you watch TV series at all, that really have, excellent episode after episode after episode. You have very few shows that are like that. And unfortunately, that's because, sometimes they're a little over ambitious, I feel, with some of these series. And that kind of, I think, messes with it too as well. Whereas, like, say if it's like one of those 24 episode comedy series or something like that, they have a lot more length to play things out to make it more understandable. Whereas they're shoving them way too much in together because they're making them so short these days, which I don't get why they make these shows so short these days. We used to go from like 20 to 24 episodes and half-hour shows to all of a sudden now it's like hour-long shows that are only 8 to 10 episodes or even maybe 6. And I think that's kind of dumb to do it that way. And I think that if they spread these out a little more, make them like, say, don't go full 20, do like 16 or 15, make them, 40 minutes long. You still could have enough time to play out and have your story not seem so crammed into certain episodes, making them filler episodes. So I think that's one of the issues that we see with these series, unfortunately, and Fallout's one of those series where it's so short, only 8 episodes. All the information they have to get out. Unfortunately, that is what happened with this episode.
Well, Cyber, if you don't mind me just really quick bouncing off of that, some series do a better job with these episodes than others, right? It just depends on who's on the cast, like who's playing the lead characters, right? And some series are like they handle these episodes better than others do. I just want to make that point that some series are built for these episodes better.
Well, and like I'll even bounce off of that and say, like, I mean, look at how The Mandalorian season 3 went. The episode before the finale, great tension, great pace, everything leading up all the way up until like it closed out, and we got that, and then it just built off of like the finale built off of that tension, everything that was built in the episode leading up to it. So it was that. There are like Jeff said, there are shows that are built for
it's it's tough. That episode was better than the finale.
Yeah.
Again, like Shogun. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if that's a really good thing, to tell you the truth. You know what I'm saying? Like, to be honest with you, you want the finale to be like the pinnacle, right, of the series almost. So I'm not sure if that really does the like good for a series. I didn't like the fact that in the Mandalorian when we covered that episode was so good leading up to the finale. That like that was when Tar Vizsla died at the end and shit and whatnot and everything. That shit was crazy.
It was nuts. And then I mean, me personally, I loved the finale. Finale just took off from where it that episode left it.
From episode to episode, though, the finale wasn't as good as the episode 8 or 7 or whatever it was.
True. And and then to Cyber's point, we've gone from these long TV shows where they're able to just, delve into the story and really give us a solid, in-depth story to where they have to. It almost feels rushed. They have to make the episodes still like almost basically movie length to get everything they want into such a short season of a show. And it's really, I think it hurts the show almost, but also it does help it in a way where they're allowed to basically make movies for episodes of the show. So it hurts and it helps, I think, if that makes sense.
Yes. Excellent. Thank you both. Yeah, definitely. I mean, each season, each series, definitely each have their pros and cons when it comes to this stuff. So yeah, it's a kind of a win or win no situation kind of deal there for you. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
All right, excellent. So tonight's drinking words, as my co-host has put up, are Ghoul, Howard, Walt Goggins, Vaulters, Vaults, Vault People, Vault Tech, really anything that is Vault related will be a drinking word. Pretty much because that we do a lot of vaulting in this film, or this episode. So that's kind of where I went with that. So those are the drinking words for you.
Oh,
all right.
So, Cyber Ben has got to see this new video that we have. He'll love it.
Oh, I bet.
They're adding this to the Olympics. It's a new Olympic event they're adding in, Ben.
Speed humping? Oh, gosh. Wow, that was fast.
I'm telling you, I'm sorry, Cyber. I fucking love that race.
10-second champ.
I'm sure you do, sir.
If they could have incorporated any themes from that into episode 7 of Fallout, it would have been a better episode.
Okay, there you go, folks. You heard it right here from the True Knowledge himself. If they had super fast humping Olympics in this episode, he would have liked it better. Excellent. All right. Excellent, guys. All right. So like I said, called the radio. Just went over the drinking words for you guys, so keep that in mind as we go along here. All right. So the episode, we get that recap right at the beginning, trying to reiterate what happened last episode. And basically the episode starts off with we see these people outside basically using metal detectors, and they're looking for stuff in the sand around their houses. We see the two people doing it, and one waves at the other when they find something, and they end up heading back to the house. And, that's where they get to their house. They go in. The father is calling for the daughter, who is hilariously played by Eric Estrada. I literally was sitting there going, is that Eric Estrada? I'm like, what? I'm like, this is hilarious. Why is Eric Estrada in the show? But anyways, I'm like, Eric Estrada. And I was like, really, Eric Estrada? But anyway, so he's calling out for his daughter, and then all of a sudden he looks at the table, and we see Mr. G. Now, Mr. G sitting there eating some food, and they're kind of looking at him and going, shit, like, he's not eating my daughter, is he? And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, wow, you just went to the dark place there, bro. And, so basically they're kind of like, what are you doing here? And he's just kind of chewing on the food, and all of a sudden, as he's chewing on the food, he kind of is leaning back. The daughter comes walking over with some more stuff, and they're kind of like, whew, like, and he's like, you thought I was eating? Nah, no, you guys go to dark place, basically. And basically he ends up asking them, question, saying, hey, if you answer this question for me, I'll leave and go. Nobody will get hurt. I'll just leave. And he pulls out like this letter that is bloodstained, and he ends up, saying, what's the name of your oldest son? And he's like, I never said the name of my oldest son. He's like, oh, so you must be Tommy then, pointing at the other son. He's like, you have 3 children, right? He's like, yeah. And he's like, well, I have this letter here from Tommy's brother. And basically, stating, that he was in cahoots with his brother with this, whatever this secret organization is that we're helping out, and that he needs the brother's location, or the location of this sect, or whatever you want to call it. And basically Tommy's like not really saying anything. It's like blah blah blah, and starts to make a move, and the ghoul shoots him. Oh, drink. So Mr. G shoots him, and of course Eric Strada's like, oh, and basically gets the information out of him, and makes his way out of there. And as that happens, we go back to the vault. Drink. Vault, or I should say Vault 4. Well, double drink. And Lucy's there being detained by 2 of the people there. And basically they're berating her about going into the secret level 12. And basically saying that she did an evil thing, throwing that acid in that one dude's face and all this stuff, and that she needs to be reprimanded, and and all this kind of stuff, and say, hey, we got to show her this video. And they're like, okay. And so they show her this video of the swamp monster we saw in an earlier episode.
Yep.
And basically attacking the people in there and eating them. And you're kind of like, oh crap. So that creature is something they created. So I was kind of right when that popped up. I was like, oh, so they did. Okay. Yeah, I get it. All right. And like I was totally thinking of myself, like, I'm sure that's something somebody created. It's not just something from the fallout's happening or something nuclear exposure. Somebody created that thing, because it definitely is causing havoc in this area. So when it popped up on the video, it's kind of like, oh, okay. I'm like, that makes a lot more sense on this creature. So they do that. They show that video to her, and basically she's like, oh my God, I didn't know. And they're like, well, your naiveness is no excuse for how you irrationally behaved. And so you must be punished, and so they're going to punish her. And, basically after that, that's when we go to seeing the wonderful lackey there, which his name always escapes me, unfortunately, this character, because they Thaddeus. Okay. Thaddeus. We go to Thaddeus walking after leaving Maximus, and he's making his way to wherever, and he ends up stopping at this rocket place. It looks like an old gas station, and it looks at his foot, and his foot's like mangled beyond belief. And I mean, whatever they use there, I don't know if that was just prosthetics or if that was CGI, but that looked hilarious at the same time, as Jeff mentioned before. And at the same time, I'm like, if your foot's that fucking bad, would not be walking on that motherfucking thing. I'm sorry. That thing was like so smashed. And if you notice the size of it too, it looked like it was like a foot long, or like almost like super long. And I'm like looking at it going, that's like a really huge foot. Like, what's going on here? Like, I get prosthetics and everything, but that just looks retardedly huge. Because that Thaddeus guy is maybe 6 foot, maybe So I mean, his foot would have been that huge. But anyways, I was just kind of like looking. I go, oh my god, that is just crazy. How that looks and how mangled it is, and like the one toes are hanging, and it's like backwards and something. I was just cracking up watching this because I'm like, one, that looks so fake, but at the same time, it still was, I think, still well done for whatever they used to make it. It did look good, but him like just like taking the boot off and his sock off, and it was like still like that. And no infection or anything after it's probably been a day or so since he, got smashed. And, and how it looks like it looked too red and stuff like that for it to just be like how it was. So I thought that was kind of funny. But the dog is annoying him, so he decides to put the dog in one of the Coca-Cola coolers.
This shit was stupid as fuck.
That was cruel. And I'm like thinking to myself, like, what the hell? Like, what's wrong with you, bro? Like putting him in it said like Coca Nuke or something.
Yeah, it was a new cola machine thing.
Yeah, cola machine, which was hilarious. And I was like, I think that was something in the games, right? They had those. Okay. And I was cracking up at the name of the Coca-Cola, and I'm like, well, at least you're not putting him in like some bomb area or something. At least it was like a Coke machine or something. But anyway, still, it was like stupid. I'm like, why are you putting this poor dog in there? Just let the dog be. And so after he leaves them, that's when we go back to Area 4, and that's they're basically doing their punishment to Lucy. They have her strapped down in this thing with her hands out, and like everyone's there, and they're like chanting, and we see what's his name,
Chris Parnell.
Thank you, Chris Parnell. And he's sharpening this really big ass sword. And I'm like, what the hell is going on here? And like, you're thinking like, oh, this is really bad. Are they going to cut off her hands or something? And I'm thinking of something like, wow, that really sucks. After having your fake new fingers sewed on, and then your whole hands are going to get cut off. I'm like, this really sucks. And so then when he takes it and he's like, he just starts sawing at the strap. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? And everyone's like looking, going like, everyone's just like in awe of this. And I'm like, what the hell am I watching? This, what kind of punishment is this? You have to watch me saw this band that's stuck around your hands. I'm like, this is no punishment. And he's like sawing it. He's like, and he keeps sawing it, and everyone's kind of like, okay, cut the thing, like saw, and Lucy's kind of just like, huh, like going like, and then all of a sudden it's like, he's like, so this is your punishment. We're gonna release you, and you must go up to the surface for your punishment, and we're gonna give you these fucking provisions for 2 weeks. And you're like, what?
You help them out, man.
I know, like, how is this freaking punishment? And I'm like thinking of something like, oh my god, this is hilarious. And I'm like, just like even Ella Parnell's like looking as Lucy doing this, she's like, okay, I'll take this punishment. You're giving me free shit. Like, seriously, like, what the hell is wrong with these people?
Well, Chris Parnell is like, well, you're gonna die as soon as you get up there. You know what I'm saying? Like, something's gonna happen to you. You're gonna fucking die.
Yeah.
The vault dwellers don't know what's up there.
Oh, Drake.
Oh.
And so they're like, finally, he gets through it, and he lets her go. And it's like, you're just gonna let me go. And then she kind of like pleads that to let Maximus, stay because he's so happy there. As we kind of previously saw him a little bit, and he was enjoying the robe and having the shower and watching TV and eating popcorn and stuff like that. And you're just kind of like, okay. And as she's being pulled into the area where the supposed punishment is happening, he sees it and decides, well, I need to help her. So he goes and steals a core from them to put into the suit to activate it, and then ends up taking the suit and going in there and like trying to save her when she's already fine. And as he started to do stuff, she basically has to stop him, like, hey, she's like, Max, or whatever the other guy's name was. What was it? What was Michael Rappaport's real name?
Oh, Titus.
Titus. And she's still thinking he's Titus. Go, Titus, stop. And he's like, and she's like, I'm fine. They're letting me go. He's like, oh. And he looks around. He's like, "Oh, sorry. You might want to check on this guy over here," which was a really funny moment. I was like, "That cracks me up." And then after that debacle, we see them on the surface leaving, and she's like, "We can't steal that thing because they're only gonna have power for so long. But you need to give it back." And I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, "What the hell they were just doing to you in those experiments, bro? Did you see what was going on there? Like, and you're trying to be nice still to them?" I'm like, "What the hell's wrong with you?" And basically ends up like making him give it back, and he goes down and gives it back to him. She's like, "Don't you feel better now?" And you're just kind of like, "I'm gonna slap you, bitch." Pretty much. I'm like, "Good God." I'm like, oh. So we'll stop there. So what are you guys' thoughts on that section of the episode? What did you think about that video with the swamp monster guy? The as I like to call it, it looked just like a what do you call it? I can't think of the name of it. Basically, it can literally have half of it cut off, and it will regrow it. Can't remember the name, but it basically looks like one of those. But what did you think about that? The video
that was a gulper.
Yeah, it's called a gulper. Yeah,
yeah.
And basically, I thought it was really interesting because you also learned that they were performing these experiments on people, also mixing humans with supposedly radioactively radiation resistant species to try and see if they can help people be more resistant to the radiation from the nuclear fallout and stuff like that. So it was really interesting. It made sense for the whole vault system. Oh.
All right.
Drink.
Jeff, your thoughts on the video?
Well, I wasn't done. I just had a drink.
Oh.
I started it again.
Go ahead, Ben.
But it was, and then leading up to that, I like this show is full of it, but just the dark humor throughout the whole thing. Because with his foot mangled as it was disgustingly funny, kind of like an Inglourious Bastards type of thing, like just so over the top that it was funny to me. I was like, oh my gosh, and laughing at the same time. It was, and then
it's built off a video game.
Yeah, exactly. So it's meant. I mean, it's an old video game too. I mean, Fallout 1 was in the 90s, and then leading up to it, so it's supposed to be overdone. It's supposed to be hilariously, but just the dark humor and everything was pretty good for me. That's my thoughts on that part of the episode.
Okay. All right. Jeff, same thoughts, same question, sir. That portion of the episode and the video that we saw in that portion of the episode.
The opening with the G-Man is really cool. It sort of sets a tone, like a sort of a seriousness to the episode that then kind of like flounders after that, right? Mm-hmm. Like I don't this show has had an interesting kind of balance the whole time. Like the pace of it's been kind of hokey at times, that's kind of how the series has been for me in my experience. And basically I felt like they kind of built up the episode a little bit at first, then it kind of slid down a little bit. Like when we switched over to the V4 Area 4 deal. Talk about fucking hilarious. The comedic buildup of like the whole sawing deal and all that. Like the chick and Chris Parnell are so good at selling how like they're like there's going to be this menacing punishment coming to Lucy or whatever. Like it's coming to her, right? Yeah. And they sell it so good to where when he does the stupid fucking sawing, it literally is almost like just the concept of it is fucking utterly hilarious. Like it's you can't not laugh at the whole buildup of it. It's so well done. It's really good humor. Chris Parnell is absolutely like standout. Like in his 2 episodes that he did of Fallout, he's been like standout with his humor, like spot on, just like he is on Archer and shit like that and whatnot. I think he's on another show too. I can't remember what the other one is, but no, I really like the actor that plays Thaddeus. He's really good in this. He makes the character interesting to where even when he's on his own, he's still kind of interesting. Like he holds the screen, well enough to where like it doesn't make it boring or take anything away or divert from the episode when they solo him up. It just made no sense what he did with the dog. Like I get that it sets up the G-Man later and all that, right? That I get all that, but that really didn't need to happen. Like that, literally, I did not like that scene at all. That is like kind of animal abuse. Like, I don't care if it is the fucking wasteland of the apocalypse or whatever. Like, that's wrong. I didn't like that. I found that very distasteful. Now, as far as like what they did with his foot, that shit was utterly hilarious. It was like utterly hilarious and like made you want to gag at the same time. Because just imagining your own foot being like that is so fucked up. When you think about it for a minute, it's like, holy fuck. Like, what that would actually be like? It's like seppuku-ing yourself. When you watch shows and see somebody fucking seppuku,
Yeah.
It's like, imagine you having to do that shit on yourself. For one of those fucking blades or whatever, whatnot. Like, imagining that shit in real life. That's how I felt like with that foot. Like, hell yeah, that shit is farcical. You can't walk around with your foot like that for fucking a full, like, day or 2 days or whatever. And then just take your sock off and be like, oh, fuck. And the way he was handling it, with like no stim packs or nothing, like, you know what I'm saying? Like nothing, like no, like, that was kind of really far fetched. Like it would have made more sense if he would have like used a stim pack or something, right? But as we will get into later in the episode, right, he obviously remedies the situation, the fact that, well, I won't talk about what happens with his foot. But then the only other thing I have to say with that with Lucy, just in the Area 4 deal, is just that she really balances those scenes really well with her like own sweet naivete, along with the fact that she's already been to the surface, so she already knows what it's like. She's already been learning how to survive, right? Yeah. So like that's why it is funny watching her being like. She almost feels like she deserves more punishment than what they give her. Yeah. Like she feels like she's being let off too easily. Because, like, I mean, look, she's dealt with a lot of hard shit since she she went like she left the Area 33. So that's all I got, sir. Okay, USA, all the way.
Well, no,
okay, USA.
I'll even add on to that. Like the opening scene too is very reminiscent to like The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. So I thought this episode was kind of going to be like a Good, the Bad, and the Ugly kind of parody. But yeah, it went a totally different direction that Jeff mentioned. So to add a little bit of more flavor to that little scene, I enjoyed that scene, and that scene was really good. So those are my.
So before we move on. I forgot to mention the scene where Mr. G-Man goes to that meeting with that Indian friend of his.
Oh, yeah.
And he, that lady gives him the earpiece to listen in on his wife because they think that, V is bad and that they need his help. And so I want to get your guys' thoughts on that sequence where he ends up taking the bug and kind of does it, throws it away, and then picks it back out of the garbage. What were you guys' thoughts on that that flashback? Starting with you, Ben.
It just goes back to that inner conflict that he's had since he's started to work with that certain company, and he wants to trust his wife. He wants to, be at her side, but he's also very wary of like what it's doing to his career, what it's seems like it's doing to his family. Like his wife's at work all the time. He's having a hard time finding work. Excuse me. And it just shows that he wants to trust his wife. He wants to be by his wife's side, but at the same time, he also wants to know what the hell's going on. Like, this is really weird that everybody else on the outside is acting a certain way, to include one of my friends who's trying to, you know, get me to go to these meetings and stuff. But it's like, yeah, it's fishy. So I think there's just that inner conflict. It really highlights that, especially within the family dynamic of theirs.
Okay, thank you. Jeff, same question. What did you think about that flashback?
I want to know how the fuck Moldover is still alive, for one thing. Like, you know, like 200 years later. I hope they explain that in the finale. Like, you know, how if she was against you know, the company so badly, I don't know how she would have ended up getting cryogenically frozen. Do you know what I'm saying? Like how, like what her means would have been to do that. Like, you know, because the way that the vibe I'm getting is like that's the company's deal is having the technology and whatnot and all that and the foresight to be doing things like that due to the war and all that, right? And the impending you know, nukes and all that shit and whatnot. So I'm just trying to figure out how she's, you know, still alive. As far as the flashback goes, I really enjoy the flashbacks with Mr. G. I do enjoy the flip of having the actor portray the same character in the two different timelines. It is a nice little, you know, injection into the show. It really does, you know, create a lot of entertainment value. You know, and I guess the scene with Moldover where she's given the speech, I didn't really feel like she made any points, like, or anything like that and whatnot, or said anything that I found very profound at all or anything like that and whatnot. It really didn't really make a lot of sense to me. I wasn't really sure what he was supposed to find from that, you know? Like, I liked her delivery, the actress, saying, like, I'm not a communist, right? Like, there's just some shady shit going on here or whatever, you know? I like that. I thought that was, like, you know, like a good way to sort of set, you know, Mr. G straight to get him to, you know, wake up, you know, with what's going on with his wife. Overall, in general, the flashbacks have been good in the series. They've been an aspect that's been an enjoyable part for me. And I really enjoy, I hope that they'll continue the duality with the flashbacks and all that stuff and whatnot. Everything. I hope that they're not going to take that away in season 2, and that will be the end of it. Like, you know, season 2 will be the end. We'll have to see, I guess.
Thank you. Excellent. All right. So continue on. So where we left off, they had just given back the cold fusion thing back to the V.
Not the cold fusion, the reactor.
Same fucking thing. Jesus fucking Christ! Stop correcting me, motherfucker. Anyways, fucking cold reaction, whatever you want to call it. It's
cold reaction.
It's a fucking power core. Okay?
I like it. I like it.
I don't fucking care.
That's a good one. Cold reaction. I like that. Reaction. That's good. If I become a professional wrestler,
is it not? Yes.
If I become a professional wrestler, Cyber, I'm going to call myself Cold Reaction.
You call yourself Cold Reaction, then Micro Penis Man.
All
right. Anyways, so after they give that, Lucy basically says to Maximus, come live with me at my B. And to me, because we're saying B, not her vagina, people. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about her home. He basically, she's like, come live with me, la 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 la. And Maximus is kind of like, okay, fine. And so, basically it leaves them, and then it goes back to Thaddeus as he's walking through the desert or wherever he's walking. And he comes across this supposed medicine man or supposed doctor or whatever you want to call him, who, as we see him, he looks like he's about to shoot himself in the head for some odd reason. But he sees him and starts running towards him. And basically catches up with him and says, I can help you. And he's like, okay. So they go to this abandoned house, and he basically, asks for the guy's assistant. He says, I got something that will help you. You're not going to really like the taste of it, but it will help you. It'll fix your foot. And he's like, okay. And he basically says, blah, blah, the price of it and all this kind of stuff. And we see him, he creates the mixture and he gives it to Thaddeus, and Thaddeus injects it. We see him cough a little bit, kind of like Jeff when he inhales on his inhaler a little too long or something, or his vein. And, he basically ends up, taking it, and all of a sudden we watch his foot, basically fix itself, which I thought was pretty visually cool. I thought that was cool looking. It looked really cool.
Yeah, it looked good.
And I thought that was just really well done. And so he's all happy, ecstatic. He's like, it's fixed. I'm happy. La, 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 and basically that medicine guy leaves him, and he's, starts making his way towards where he can find a radio. And the medicine guy tells him where he can find a radio. He's like, okay, so he's going to head for that. So as he heads for that, that's when we go back to, I believe, if I remember correctly, we go back to the original V33, and we see Lucy's brother again, and he's feeding the prisoners, and on the level that he's doing his work now, as we saw in a previous episode. And basically we get kind of like this little scene where he's feeding them, and then all of a sudden a group of them have all of a sudden died, and it looks like they have been poisoned by rat poison. And the new council, the new person in charge, is basically seems like, oh, this is, why should we not tell people what happened here? This will help with morale and stuff like that. And basically say, we're not going to keep this secret type of deal. And as she walks out into the thing, she gets on the little hand pad thing and basically says, oh, more rooms available, changing room assignments basically. And then all of a sudden all the people on their little handheld thing all of a sudden get, where if they're staying on 33 or if they're moving to 32. And we have that little kind of montage where it all pops up on their little hand screens if they're staying or not. And a lot of people are like, some are like, yes. And then others are like, ah, shit. And saying I'm going to have to move and stuff like that. Yep. Cold Reaction should be a movie title. Okay. Well, if you think about it, Chain Reaction is kind of similar. So, from 1996 with Keanu Reeves and Rachel Weisz and Morgan Freeman. That's where I kind of got it from, because that's what's in that. It's about using water as power, cold fusion, sir. Anyways. So, the cold reaction and the cold fusion, that we talked about earlier, is cool. So don't forget that. But anyway, so like I said,
I was going to use Cold Reaction as a title for my biography of what happened when I went to the Savage She-Hulk Massage and Spa, and I found out I had to give the happy ending to She-Hulk at the end of the massage instead of her giving me the happy ending. Okay. That whole experience and everything, I want to title it in my biography, Cold Reaction.
Hey. There you go.
I'll co-star.
There you go. That'll be the co-star. Anyway, so after that happens, Lucy's brother goes to see the now not pregnant lady that has given birth, and his former kind of colleague that he ended up.
What is her name?
I forget what her name is.
It's gonna drive me crazy.
What is her name? Let's see here.
Stephanie? No.
Let's see here.
That almost sounds right.
Curry.
She's the one that becomes the overseer of V32.
Yeah.
Yeah, Stephanie Harper.
Okay.
Yep, Stephanie Harper.
Good job, Jeff. That was good.
I think she's the one that poisoned the people. The Raiders.
Can you? I haven't finished yet, sir. I haven't asked anything.
I'm sorry, sir.
So shut up.
Getting ahead of yourself, Jeff. It's okay.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
Anyways, that's what I'm just getting to, sir. Jeez. And so, like I said, Lucy's brother goes to see Stephanie and his cohort that are now together, and after she's had her baby, and definitely he goes to see them because he's suspicious that they're the ones that poisoned these inmate people because they're the ones that killed her husband, who the baby is with. So we get kind of that vibe from that little scene there. That happens there, and they're kind of like, oh, we're going to 32, and the guy friend's like, yeah, I'll go to 32 too. We're being reassigned there, and and this is how it is. And they both seem very suspicious in how they're acting and talking and stuff in that scene.
Yeah,
and you definitely get that kind of vibe. Then it goes back to Mr. G, and he comes across that Rocket place, Red Rocket, gas station. And he's on the trail. That's what it says, Red Rocket. Rewatch the fucking video, you motherfucker.
It's funny.
Why is Red Rocket funny?
South Park. You ever watch that episode of South Park?
Red Rocket,
Red Rocket, where they go around jerking off dogs and like calling it Red Rocket.
No, I didn't see that episode.
Oh, that's pretty good.
I've only watched so many episodes of South Park, so I'm not feeling with it all.
Red Rocket.
So anyway, he's following their trail there. We see him kind of step down and taste some brown stuff. I don't know what the hell it was, but we see him kind of spit it out. And then he walks over, and that's when he finds the dog and lets the dog out of the Coca-Cola thing.
Nuka-Cola?
Nuka-Cola. I'm just going to call it Coca-Cola because it just sounds better, I think. Yeah. And
Okay.
sometimes it's hard to remember Nuka-Cola, I guess.
I guess.
But anyways, and, watch. Now I said that, and watch, I'll say Nuka-Cola from now on.
I think in the game, isn't there cocaine in it or some shit like that?
There's all kinds of drugs.
In Nuka-Cola, yeah. It's not like there's something wrong with it. It's not like it's fucked up.
Probably just back to the original formula, which they used cocaine back in the 1800s when they first created Coca-Cola. So that's probably that's what Nuka-Cola is. Probably just the original Coke formula.
I know they should bring it back, baby.
You would like that, wouldn't you, sir?
No comment.
No comment, he says. No comment. Anyways, so after he lets the dog out, we go back to seeing the latter part of the flashback of him trying to spy on his wife. This is where we see him put the earpiece in officially and connect it to the headset, and him throwing it away and then going to pick it out of the garbage again. And, we definitely can see that, he's like Ben mentioned, he's really struggling with stuff here. We see the contradiction between the current Mr. G and the past Mr. G, and how he's definitely, you can tell the wheels are turning, but he's not 100% sure. And he has that inner conflict with himself. And so, then that's when we go back to him in present day, and he renames the dog from CX404 to Dog Meat. And I'm like, why the hell did he call him Dog Meat? Is that the name of a dog in the game? Yeah. I have no idea. I don't think I ever got to that point.
In the game, the dog's name is Dog Meat.
Okay, yep. It is Dog Meat. Okay. And that's just like hilarious. I'm like, Dog Meat. I'm like, is he saying it because it's the dog's possible meat to eat later on or something? Or, I know he kind of mentions how he's like, you're not my original dog I had that we see in the flashbacks. And that's why he changes the name to Dog Meat, which I think is kind of funny. But that Dog Meat reference is so funny. I think it's a funny name. But anyways, then we briefly go back to seeing Lucy and Maximus traveling, walking down the dirt road, or the sand, I should say. And where are they presently? I forget. Are they supposed to be in LA? Or are they supposed to be in Philly? I can't remember exactly.
They're near LA.
They're near LA. Okay. So they're traveling in that area of LA. And that's when we go back to Thaddeus as he reaches where the radio man is. And who's the radio man? Mr. Fred Armisen, who we all know from SNL and Deuce Bigalow, European Gigolo, Documentary Now, Portlandia. I mean, Fred Armisen is just a freaking awesome comic. And it was so freaking hilarious watching him pop up and be this character. And I was just kind of cracking up going, Fred Armisen, how the hell did you get him to be in this? I'm like, what the hell? And first Eric Estrada and now freaking Fred Armisen. I'm like, what? And they have kind of a funny conversation. Him and Thaddeus have this kind of funny conversation, and he's talking about how he likes his traps in the front yard there. We see all the dead bodies with giant bear traps and stuff around them. So like that, which was really funny. And, Fred Armisen, of course, is just this kind of funny, silly self. And that's when all of a sudden Maximus and Lucy pop up, and he stands up and he starts shooting at them with the gun, shoots I don't know how many bullets, and he freaking misses every single shot, doesn't even hit them, which was hilarious. And he's like shit. And so they even put up their hands, which I find funny after they know the gun's empty. And go to talk to him and say, that, we're looking for the head. And then all of a sudden, one of the radio guy's traps deploys, shoots him right in the neck with an arrow. And he hilarious goes, why am I not dead? Yeah. And he's and he ends up pulling out the arrow and it heals. You're like, and Maximus is like, shit, I think you're a ghoul, bro. And I'm just cracking up going, oh my God, that's so what that guy would turn into as a ghoul. And basically he's like, dude, the Man of Steel will reprimand you alive for this. And we'll let you get out of here, but you got to give us the head and we'll take care of the Brotherhood of Steel. And he's like, okay, thanks. You do that for me? He's like, yeah. And they're like, and so he starts running off. And basically Lucy and Maximus are there with the head. And Maximus gives Lucy the head and be like, hey, take this, get out of here. I'll head them off with this fake head that I just took from this dead body here. And then they hold each other and kiss, which I'm like, it took them this long to fucking kiss, 7 episodes. I'm like, goddamn. And then even the heads are kind of kissing too as they're kissing each other, which was kind of funny. So I'll stop there before we get to the complete conclusion of the episode. So, what did you guys think about kind of that section of the episode? What did you think about the whole, just everything that happens in the sequence of kind of all these crazy proportions and all this funny stuff and the flashbacks and all that kind of good stuff? And was there anything in this particular part of the episode, which we definitely all agreed that this is a very filler episode? Was there anything of that filler that you did find interesting, that you did feel helped the story along, that you found very poignant to maybe later on to maybe the next episode or something? Starting with you, Ben.
Mainly the part that really, I think, helped move the story along was when Mr. G found the dog in the Nuka-Cola cooler. How you did see that those wheels turning, even though he's 200 years older. You still see those memories kind of come back, and it again, like you brought up, is that conflict, that personality conflict. I think that's the part that really helped move the story along. The rest of it was just hilarious. I was laughing my ass off through the rest of it, with his foot, then the radio, especially the conversation about music. He was like, oh yeah, I like the high parts, and then the mids. The mids, yeah. He was like, oh, you mean right there? And he'd be like, no, it's there. Because then it was just that awkward, hilarious conversation between those two was pretty funny. And then him missing completely, hysterical, comedic gold, and then I love slapstick humor, and it reminded me of a lot of the slapstick humor from when I was a kid, and them putting their hands up afterwards, him backing up into a trap and like, oh, huh? Oh no, oh fuck, I'm not dead. Oh fuck. And just freaking out that he turned into a ghoul. And then it was like overall, I think after that scene with him finding dog meat, I think after that was basically just the filler part. It was good. It was entertaining. It was funny, but it was definitely the filler part. And then even with the two heads kissing, I thought that was a nice touch. That was a perfect, like, again, this series is just full of just that awkward, dark humor, and it's great. I absolutely love it.
Excellent. Yeah, most definitely. The name I was looking for earlier for the creature was Axolotl. Axolotl's this creature looks exactly like an axolotl. I just remembered it finally. Anyways, Jeff, your thoughts are on that section of the episode.
I don't like a lot of Lucy Maximus stuff that much in this episode. That's like the worst part for me, probably. The stuff with the actor that plays Thaddeus, Johnny Pemberton, is really funny. Like really, he's really funny. His conversation with the guy at the radio station about the mids and all that shit and whatnot, like, is really funny. It's hilarious. Just his whole demeanor, like his whole disposition in general, since he's been in the series, like his whole overall, like, general, like, mindset and like his dialogue, it's all great. Like, it literally is. He's hilarious. The snake oil salesman guy that fixes his foot is great.
Oh yeah,
that was a great scene. That was probably one of the the highlights for me. Was that scene where he goes? That house was looked like a house from like Fallout 3, like one of the games or whatever, whatnot. It did. It looked like one of the shack, bombed out houses or whatever, whatnot, that you'd see in the game. Did a really great job with set design on this. Like it does really look like the game. That they really make an effort to, with all the scenes, you can see them trying to add stuff to the backgrounds, the structures, the houses. They're trying to make it look game-ish. They are. It's there. So like the people who are like really big Fallout video game fans or whatever, I'm sure must be happy with the show. I would think. Because they pay off major lip service to the games. But no, the Lucy Maximus stuff, like them kissing, like it was cute, and I liked their chemistry from jump in like the first episode or whatever, or second episode. I loved their chemistry, but ever since like the episode where she asked if he wanted to have sex, and he was like, nah, because my pimple could pop or whatever, or some shit or whatever. Ever since then, it's just gone downhill. Like, I didn't care about him and his power armor in this episode at all. It didn't do anything for me. The snake oil salesman was great. That was an interesting scene. It was entertaining. It wasn't funny. It was more just like, it kept you going. It kept your attention. So you could keep on moving through. And then as far as the seeing dog meat get freed was nice. I like it when he's on. I like it when he's on the screen. I do. It's enjoyable. I like to see him on there, like joining whoever's on the show. like following somebody on the show. It's cool to see him there. But besides that, I really and I guess that are we going as are we going as far as the people switching from area 33 to 32?
No.
Okay, then I'll stop there.
Nope. Just to when Maximus stays behind.
This show has like a hokey pace to it. It does. It has like kind of a weird pace. It's just not. It's not super intense. It's not like, you know, anything that's gonna like really get you like, you know, jacked off of it. But it's still solid.
So yeah, people, this episode did not give Jeff a stiffy, people. Just
No.
FYI, it did not get him wet downstairs.
I was not jacked.
It was not jacked.
No. Will we play this episode? This footage for episode 7, sir?
Yes, please. Woo! There you go, folks. A little footage for you guys from the episode. The great Moldiver scene where the ghoul Drake ask where Moldiver is. Great sequencer there. Thank you for sharing. I hope you guys that reignited your viewing pleasure for Fallout. All right. Great job there. All right. So finishing the episode up. So where we left off basically goes back to Vault 33. Oh, Drake. And in Vault 33, Drake.
Golly.
Got to make up a little time here, sir. Been a while since you all drank. Anyways, so back in V33, they're having basically the commencement kind of like get together to transition the people from 33 to 32 that are going to 32. Mm-hmm. And they're in there and they're all having like conversations and stuff like that and getting ready to open Vault 32. Oh, Drake. And basically, you know, they're all like making their talks and amends and stuff like that. And you know, the one guy kind of has like a freak out a little bit there for a second, you know, and then stops from leaving and he kind of rethinks himself and says, okay, never mind. And then they open it and the people that are going to 32 get in and we see them and the door closes. So after that, basically goes back to Norm. He goes into the office of Betty. And as we saw in that previous sequence, he looked at his colleague there before he went into Vault 32. Oh, Drake. And, you know, you can definitely tell that he doesn't feel something's right. Something's amiss and that it's not right. So he goes into Betty's office and logs onto the computer and pretends to be Betty. And basically starts a conversation with whoever the overseer is on 31. And he talks to him and he like says hello and pops back up. Betty, how are things going? And he replies, you know, it's not going right. And basically they reply, is it not going right or blah, blah, whatever? What's going on? And he says mission is misstep, not going as planned, basically. And then the overseer on 31 says, come back to 31. And so he makes his way to the V31. We see it open. He goes in. It goes pitch black for some odd reason. It's dark, and we just hear him going, hello, hello. And all of a sudden, finally, it shows him walking out of the darkness and into kind of a different looking hallway than we've seen in the previous Vs. And he, basically, makes his way in there, and it's on his back and showing him walking through this hallway. Then all of a sudden it's up close and we see his facial expressions. And apparently he comes across something and he goes, and then the episode ends. All right. So what are your guys' thoughts on the finale of the episode? What are your thoughts going into what did you think Norm saw, or what do you think is there? Do you think that it's somebody that he knows? Do you think it's Moldiver? What do you expect from episode 8, along with what your thoughts on the conclusion of the episode? Start with you, Jeff.
Well, that's a bot. Like, that's obvious. Like, it's a robot. Or whatever, whatever that is he's about to see is some kind of like AI or some shit or something like that, or some kind of like robotic deal or whatever, whatnot. You can hear it coming, right? Like making noises and shit and whatnot. That's not a walking person. That's not a person walking, right? So, yeah, there's something in there. Whatever's he sees, he's kind of a pussy.
Yeah.
So he's not like scared. He's more like shocked, right? Or whatever, because like if he was scared, he'd be scared. You'd see it. That actor's really good. He's held it down as Norm. Because once Lucy left the V's, right, it really was left on his shoulders to kind of carry it over there in that area of the series. He really had to kind of carry the weight, and he has. So, he's done a really good job, that actor, with that role. He's kept it interesting. He made it to where, because he's kind of like, they made him the focal point of the V experience, right?
Yep.
Which is an experience that I enjoy, whenever possible. I actually had my first stuck it in a chick's asshole on accident moment the other night recently. Like totally did not intend it at all or anything like that, whatnot. Like started sex right off with anal, like from jump. And she didn't say anything about it for like the first 5 minutes. I didn't even realize it. Swear to God. And then she finally says something to me about it. And I'm like, oh, okay. But like that, I just had that experience. Isn't that crazy? I never had that before. Yeah. Little, personal true knowledge, bonding with the audience experience right there. You gotta love it.
Do you feel special because of that?
I kept on doing it. I can tell you that. When she was like, well, you're my, so-and-so. I was like, yeah, well, I did not know. No, but I'm in there now. So obviously it must have been to me. You know what I'm saying? Like it went in there. So any gentleman out there who's ever been in a situation like that or that kind of experience knows the rule. If it just goes in like that, it's meant to be.
I'll use that from now on.
Meant to be.
That's a meme.
That's all you got to say. It's impenetrable. There's no defense to that. You know what I'm saying? It is. It's meant to be at that point. If it slides in that easily, folks, then it should have been there. It was a missing link. That missing that really big piece of that missing, improving a chick's life with that dick.
Okay.
Anyways, folks, I had to drop some true knowledge, at least once during the episode. So, Norm's been solid, and I want to see in the next episode. I want to see more Moldover. I was expecting to see more of her in this episode, and I was really kind of like a little bit disappointed with it, with what we got out of the flashbacks with her, right? Like I wanted more, to work with. And I felt like when the G-Man found his threw away his listening device, I was like, what the fuck? Like, why are you throwing that away? Like, obviously your wife is into some fucking some seriously fucked up shit. Yeah, it was cool how dog meat connected through his dog and all that and whatnot, and the flashbacks and all that and whatnot. That was dope. Hats off to the actor that plays Thaddeus, man. He was my MVP for this episode, most definitely, without question. He held it down. Honestly, I felt like Maximus really kind of slid a little bit on this one for me. I'm not even sure what they're going to do with him in episode 8. I'm kind of where the how that's really going to play out with him, with the Brotherhood, with that head. But interesting episode. I mean, there's a lot of stupid shit that they let slide in this series. So something tells me somehow Maximus will pull off the whole Knight Titus getting pulled, with the head, it's the wrong head and all that and whatnot. He'll end up okay. People don't seem very smart in this Fallout universe. The people who live in the wasteland, even they don't seem very intelligent. people in general. They don't seem like real smart.
Well,
so
hello, it's a nuclear wasteland, sir. Their brains aren't going to be functioning 100% when there's nuclear fallout, sir.
I mean, we knew that from the Raiders from episode 1 that they weren't very intelligent. So
no, they're definitely not. And I'm glad they killed those fucking Raiders.
Yeah, same.
In Area 33, they deserve to die. I didn't like those motherfuckers.
Yeah, they definitely did.
Every time they give them all that food and whatnot, everything, I'm thinking to myself, like, what about the people in Area 33? Like, they need that food, you know. And what happened to their fucking water problem? Wasn't their water going to run out in like 2 days or some shit? What happened to that?
Yeah, we never heard about that. I just realized that. Yeah, we never heard about that. So that was kind of like one of those dangling, unfinished, unresolved issues that I guess maybe got resolved.
Yeah, their population really got cut down too from that first episode, man.
That's true.
Like, who they sent over there to Area 32.
Well, think about it. That water thing didn't get resolved because there really was no water problem to begin with.
That's right.
Oh, okay.
Right. That's right. Yeah. I mean, I've already watched episode 8, so I'm not going to spoil anything, but yeah. No,
I'm done. That's all I have to say.
All right. Excellent. Thank you, sir. 1,000,000 points for you, sir, tonight. You're doing fantastic. You're at the top with 10 million points, sir. Excellent job.
10 million? Oh.
Yes.
wow.
And you can, I want you to make sure to wrap that in Andreas's face, okay? I want to make sure you do that.
I thought you were going to tell me to wrap it up or something like that. Remember, I was going to be like, come on, bro. You know how I feel about those condoms.
I know. Anyway, Ben, your thoughts, sir, on the conclusion of the episode.
I really liked it. I kind of, again, it set the tone. It brought that suspension back that we've had throughout this whole series. It, like, Norm is, like, piggybacking off of Jeff. Norm has been solid with his character, the actor there. Really good acting. Really good, just really good performance from him. And then, like, as he's going, like, everything just builds up. All the tension we've been feeling, like every suspicion we've had, because things have been kind of wonky around Area 33 with like Betty and the council and everything, and then he goes into the office and talks on the computer, and then it just confirms like, yeah, it's getting even more weird. And then moving into the vault, like it's gonna be exciting, Jeffrey, to see what happens next. It really sets it up very well. I really enjoyed this part of the episode for sure. It was one of my favorite parts, aside from the beginning, which, like, I'm a huge Good, the Bad, and the Ugly fan, and I love that beginning scene. Like, it scratched my itch for sure. He
gets to play what he was in the movies in
that scene. Yeah, it was awesome.
In this, like, you know, in the Fallout universe. So that's what he plays. He plays that role.
Yeah.
And the real world. And they're in the Fallout real world, you know.
Oh yeah.
Excellent shit, Ben. You also get 1,000,000 points, sir. You're only 1 point behind him. You know, so he's at 10 million. You're at 999.999 million. But
sir,
you still did a fantastic job.
I promise you, you have a problem if you need to put a paper bag over Ella Purnell's head. Because I'm telling you right now, sir, there's
those fucking bug eyes, dude, I cannot do. They are fucking ugly as fuck. They are goddamn awful.
I've encountered
over the damn head.
I've encountered some chicks that literally, in all reality, could handle a bag over their head. You know,
she does. Maybe if she had some surgery to put them a little closer together, might help her out a little bit. But those fucking things, man, look like fucking a praying mantis looking at you. And we all know what fucking praying mantises do to their mate after they have mated.
I dig her bug eyes, bruh.
Dude, we all know you like anything anyway, so it's all good.
No, she's fine as fuck.
There's a lot hotter chicks. So. A lot hotter chicks. Anyways, great job, both. Excellent job. We all agree. Ellen Purnell, we would bang if we could.
Yes.
Even with her bug eyes, yes, we agree there. But anyways, great conclusion, guys. I just have to say my final thoughts. I thought that the episode ended very interesting. I didn't catch on to the clanking noise, as you mentioned, Jeff, of when Norm was going into Vault 31. Oh, Drake.
There's definitely a robotic noise or whatnot and movement.
Yeah, I didn't notice it. But after reading about episode 8, I get it now. Episode 8, going into it, I'm looking forward to seeing how it, this series, this first season ends, how it kind of encapsulates everything. I definitely, feel that there's definitely going to be things we're going to find out that we haven't heard about. I think we're definitely going to get more of Moldover in this episode, because I think probably this episode was kind of just like a prelude to showing for her to come more into the picture, because she's the main antagonist, because she's the one that stole Lucy's dad. And that we'll definitely get more of her at the end of the series versus throughout the series. So I'm looking forward to that, like you said, Jeff. And I think that even though this was a filler episode, it was decent. It had some good moments, definitely a lot of filler, but I wasn't too I didn't feel it was a horrible filler type of episode. I still think that there was some entertainment value to it. All right, so going around, what are you guys' ratings on the episode, 1 through 10? Ben?
I would say, like, putting the whole series in perspective, I would say probably like an 8.5 out of 10.
Okay. Jeff?
I'll give it a 6.5. And I saw in the Wikipedia that there's an episode out of the 8 episodes that's like an hour and 20 minutes long or something like that, or an hour and 50 minutes long. That must be the finale, I'm assuming. So that's good. I like this to know that hopefully that because they still have a lot to flush out, like in the season, like for me to be satisfied with the show going into season 2. Like I want to see. I'm very interested in seeing how they're going to tie things up going into the next season. It'll be interesting to talk about.
You're going to love it, Jeff. I'm just going to let you know right now.
I'm sure. So it's been a solid series so far.
All right, so 6.5 and an 8.5. I'll have to give it a 7. Go between you guys. Like I said, I thought even though it was a filler episode, it still had some great value. I liked all the Ghoul stuff, Howard stuff. I thought it was good. And I enjoyed that we got a little bit of younger Moldover and what she's about. And I also enjoyed seeing Eric Estrada and Fred Armisen in this episode. I thought that was hilarious. And the whole foot thing cracked me up. So, and the fact that Thaddeus is now a ghoul cracks me up too as well.
Yep.
So I think definitely some great value to it. Not the best episode of the series. I definitely thought it was better than 5. So I think that it did a better job in that aspect, but definitely a filler episode leading into the finale. So yeah, I have to give it a 7. All right. Great job, guys. I will push it over to Mr. Jeff to take us out.
All right, sir. Let me take us out.
Oh, boy. Oh, my word. Wow. That's some shit.
I love it when he does that head bob.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I can't wait till our country becomes like this.
I was about to say, where is this?
Oh, our country has done this kind of stuff. Don't worry.
I was about to say.
That guy's actually having sex with a poster.
Wow.
That is wonderful, folks. Shout out to that guy. That's his plug right there.
There's a great video going around on the internet right now of this old guy shoving a gas gas pump up his ass while masturbating.
I have not seen that.
I think it was over in Italy.
Cyberneticshark, sir. Here is your YouTube channel, sir. The floor is yours.
All right, thank you. If you enjoy me as the moderator or on the panel here on the MC's Lineage, you definitely go check out my solo content over at Cyberneticshark. You find me on YouTube, TikTok, X, Facebook, Instagram, Patreon, all those great places. As you see, I put up my most recent review, the first film in the rebooted series of the Planet of the Apes, Rise of the Planet of the Apes. If you have not seen that, check out that review of that film, because Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes just came out 2 weeks ago, and it's a really fantastic film. I went and saw the new Mad Max today and the new Garfield film. I have one of the mini reviews up. They having the other mini review up soon, along with some actual full-length reviews of it soon. Both very fun films. Really enjoyed them. I honestly thought Furiosa was a way better film than Fury Road. Anna Taylor-Joy did a more phenomenal job than Charlize Theron did. I liked her way more as Furiosa than Charlize Theron. So great films. If you haven't seen them, definitely go check them out. It just came out in theaters today. But yeah, if you haven't seen my content, definitely go check it out. Got all kinds of different stuff on there. Mini clips, mini reviews, all that kind of stuff, little remixes. I'm calling cyber remixes and stuff like that. And keep your eyes out for more trailer reactions and reviews coming soon, people.
Dude, that chick on Death Spa needs a bag on the head. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real.
Well, she's supposed to be dead, sir. So I don't think you need a bag over a dead person's head.
I would need to put a bag over her head.
Nah.
Without question.
At least her eyes are together.
Folks, I am crushing tomorrow night a live stream part 2 recap of Shogun. Season 1 now, because we're doing 2 more fucking seasons of Shogun, bitch. What's up? Let's do it. Fuji, let's go. Fucking Fuji, baby. All-Star Fuji. Season 2 should be all about Fuji. So I'm killing it with Jared Glassford. Imran's coming back from Jock and Nerd podcast over on YouTube channel. Gerald Glass from the Pop Culture Cosmos. I'm going to be moderating the fuck out of it. It's going to be dope as shit. Come check us out. 8 p.m. tomorrow night. Shogun. Season 1 recap, part 2.
They should bring back Mariko from the dead. Have her be a sexy zombie.
For real. Shit. I mean, seriously. They need to bring her back somehow. No, we still got Fuji. And we still got
Fuji.
We still
Fuji's
got
ugly.
No, we still got Fuji and we still got Ochiba. We got Ochiba.
I'd rather do Ochiba.
Ochiba is pretty dope. So thanks, folks. We're almost at 49,000 subscribers over at the MCU'S Bleeding Edge. Really appreciate you. Thanks to Ben for coming on and rocking us out tonight. Shout out to Evan's Pop Culture Guy. He took the night off tonight. He's under the weather. We hope you're all right, sir. Don't worry. I'll make your X-Men fucking review on Sunday. I'll be there. We love all of you out there. God bless you. I hope you had a wonderful week. We will see you. Cyber and I will see you on Wednesday this week for The Matrix 2. Which should be dope. I can't wait to. Can't wait to watch it, baby. That's gonna be awesome. I haven't watched the movie in so long. Fucking hey, I saw it in theaters.
21 years old.
I know. Can you believe that shit? All right, everybody, have a good night. We'll see you later. Peace.
No, you should have went out with the other one, the Big Titty Juice.
Yeah.
The P. Diddy juice?
Oh, man.
Where's my P. Diddy juice?
I'm about that life. Ask P. Diddy. I just came from his house, even though I'm feeling funny after drinking P. Diddy juice. Wait, what the fuck? What's happening here?
I keep asking people for my Diddy juice and nobody will fucking give it to me. I'm telling you, folks, I'm getting pissed.
Yo, crank that.